Hi, I'm James Eckstein. Today I'm going to show you how to make a delicious, wonderful spinach dip right from home and just in time for the Super Bowl. Now the first thing you're going to need are the ingredients. Obviously the first ingredient you're going to need is spinach. Avoid canned spinach. Get yourself some flat leaf spinach. It doesn't have the preservatives and you're really going to thank yourself for getting it when you taste your own dip. You're also going to need salt. I prefer onion salt, but you can use any kind of salt that you like. Table salt, garlic salt, whatever your flavor is. Other ingredients I recommend would be fresh diced tomatoes, fresh garlic, fresh onions, and fresh mushrooms. Now the thing that makes this dip really good is the cheese. You can use any kind of cheese you like, but I prefer Cooper Sharp. And of course from the video, anyone who lives in the Philadelphia metro region can see where I get my cheese. I do recommend the Cooper Sharp though, it's fantastic. And the last ingredient you're going to need to make this is vegetable or canola oil. Now for the amount that we're making today, use about maybe half a cup to 2/3 and put it in a pan. You're going to want to go ahead and get that nice and hot before you start cooking. Okay, now that you've got your oil good and hot, the first thing you're going to want to do is drop in both your onions and your garlic together. Be very careful. We're going to let the onions and the garlic cook in here until the onions have like a light, almost brown singe to them. That's going to let us know that we're ready to drop in our next ingredient. Okay, now that the onions have achieved that color, almost like the fried onions you would find in a cheesesteak, we're going to drop in our next ingredient, which is going to be the mushrooms. And again, this is very, very hot. Now I'm using an electric stove. That's dangerous enough. If you're using a gas stove, please be very careful. Remember, oil and fire don't mix. Take a spoon or a spatula, mix everything all around in there. And you're going to want to stir occasionally. Now you don't want to stir frequently, you're not making a pasta sauce, but you do want to stir occasionally. And you're going to keep doing this process until the mushrooms have reached a nice golden brown color, almost that of good French fries. Okay, now if you can see, the mushrooms have turned that nice golden brown color and the onions have definitely started to get darker. That's exactly where we want it before we drop in our next ingredient. And that is going to be the spinach and the tomatoes together. So we're going to take our tomatoes, drop them in there. Grab yourself a nice fistful of spinach. Flat leaf spinach gets very small once you cook it. Go ahead and cover that completely. And again, be careful. Don't do like I do and put your hands near anything hot. Get the spinach completely in the pan. And again, you're going to use your slotted spoon or your spatula to push that down and start mixing the ingredients together. Alright, once your spinach has achieved about the consistency of canned spinach, that's when it's going to be time to take all of our ingredients out of the oil. And that's why I recommended either a slotted spoon or a spatula. We're going to leave all the excess oil in the pot and we're going to move all the ingredients into a bowl. Okay, now that all of our ingredients are in a bowl, we're going to be adding the final ingredients: salt and cheese. Now, you'll notice there's a little bit of oil that still got into the mix. That's okay. You do want a little bit of oil in this recipe, but you don't want too much. I don't know how well you can see on this camera, but it looks like there's a little too much in the bowl. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the bowl, have it over the pot, and use your slotted spoon to keep your ingredients in the bowl while you drain some of that excess oil. Then add your salt and cheese. So you add about the amount of salt you like. I'm not going to give you measurements because everybody's taste is different. Then, to make this a really good spinach dip, use about 1/4 pound of cheese. The best way is to break it up as you're putting it in, and once it's all broken up, you're going to use a spoon or your slotted spoon that you used for cooking to mash and mix everything together until it's one nice even consistency. Now this is about the consistency you're looking for. So the ingredients that you cooked in the pot with the oil should have been hot enough at this point to melt the cheese and mash it all together nicely to get this good consistency. If not, for some reason, there's no shame in during the mixing process throwing a bowl into the microwave for about 30 seconds to help everything melt along. And now you have a delicious homemade spinach dip. And just in time for the Super Bowl. Enjoy!